Blog Talk Radio.
From Winston-Salem, it's Sunday Night Dead.
Marginally adequate, and Matthew Slozer, a host we do not, but at least he's better than Vincent.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Night Dead. This is Matthew Slozer from Automoon Paranormal in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Here it's our last weekend of the school year for my kids, at least. We get done on Tuesday, which for me that means about an extra 2.5 hours sleep, just because of the way our school schedule works out. So I'll be a happy camper in a couple days. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I am so looking forward to the show tonight. Just a little background. One of the things that I am very interested in and kind of passionate about in this field is doing a deep dive and very much understanding locations much more in detail. The nature of the activity in the location and trying to learn from that activity. And how I actually got involved in this with George on the show was originally I came on and was discussing some of the statistics work that I'm doing as far as documenting some of the work or some of the evidence that's reported by people at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. And anyway, about a month ago, if you were listening, we were at Old South Pittsburg Hospital in South Pittsburg, Tennessee, and we did a live dual spirit box session. And I have to say I was kind of skeptical on the whole spirit box when it was first coming out, and then listening to a couple of the shows that George did with Sharon Coyle at Rolling Hills and some of the things they were getting, I was just kind of blown away by it. I wanted to try the same thing at South Pittsburg, and we had some pretty interesting results. And getting ready to kind of pull things together and review that with everyone. And while I was doing that, going through the old information, the old data and audio clips that I have, it really kind of sets up a very interesting story of what kind of transpires over the 5 nights that we were at South Pittsburg. One night in August of 2011, and then 2 nights in May of 2012, and 2 nights in May of 2013. So what I decided to do, and I'm not going to do this a bunch of weeks in a row, because I don't know how long it's actually going to take to go through it all, depending on how good of evidence and how good things are there. But I was just going to kind of start going through, and much like we do when we have some of our guests on with their audio evidence, I was just going to go through and talk a little bit about what we were experiencing at the time, play some. There's some clips that I think are really, really cool in here, and very, very interesting, particularly in relation to having multiple things confirm either EMS hits with a voice, or feelings of getting touched, or odors and getting a voice. So it should be very interesting. So I kind of want to go through all these things. I will add, as always, headphones or make it easier. So if you got headphones available, definitely listen on the headphones. And if anyone calling in or on the phone, it's always tougher hearing it over the phone, but if you would like to call in and join the conversation, the number is 646-929-2384. And we have a caller here from area code 718. Sunday Night Dead. Who am I speaking with? Hello? Area code 718. Who am I speaking with? All right. Hopefully they'll try back. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come here. So, going to jump right into this. And again, I appreciate any feedback here as to how well you can hear or anything on this. But I'm going to give you a little bit of background for those not familiar with the location. So South Pittsburg Hospital is a small hospital in South Pittsburg, Tennessee, which is right along the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee border. And a small building, had 2 main floors for most of its existence, and then for like the last 14 years, it closed in 1998. The last 14 years or so, there was a 3rd floor added. I will add that George talks a lot about the geriatrics ward at Tala and his discomfort there. I will add that out of all the places I've ever been, the place that I am the least comfortable in, and the last place out of any place I've been that I would want to hang out by myself is the 3rd floor of South Pittsburg Hospital. You'll hear some of the reasons why as we go through this. I had started on the very first night a interaction with something that really didn't like me in the operating room wing, but that whole 3rd floor just has a very kind of ominous feel to it. I don't know really what it is about it. It just feels different than any other building or section of a building I've ever been in. So basically the layout, there's a bunch of different areas. There is a clinic area with a pharmacy kind of off to one side of the building. Then there's on the 2nd floor, there is one of the unique features of this building is you get to actually stay in the building. So there's rooms that you get to sleep in. And there's a nurse's station close to where you sleep that is fairly active, as well as just your basic emergency room, operating room. So I'm going to kind of describe a little bit about where we're at on these things as the investigation evolves. But tonight alone, I'm going to just cover the very first night we're there, and actually I'm not even going to get through the whole night with what goes on here. We're just going to see how far we get in going on these things, because I would love to have a discussion on some of these pieces that that I'm presenting. But one thing about that night we were there, it was late August, but it was over 100 degrees, so it was very, very hot and very humid, and had some very interesting interactions right off the bat. And so right when we were just early on getting set up, just going down one of the halls, we caught this voice, which I think is going to be pretty obvious what it says. But I'm going to go ahead and play it 2 or 3 times, and then just let me know, those of you in the chat room, if you're able to hear it. Again, sounds to me like a child's voice, 2 words. I'm going to turn the volume up. So, go away. A child's voice saying, go away. All right, guys, we've got another caller in here. I have a feeling it's going to be one of these nights, but let's see what's going on. So, Night Dead, who am I speaking with? Hello? Okay. I guess they figured I was on to them. Every once in a while we get kind of swamped by some crank callers, and just my gut feel with how tonight's going, it's going to be one of those nights. I'm not sure what specifically gets on their radar, because it's not all the time, but I take it as a compliment if people only crank calls or crank shows that actually have an audience. So, all right, moving right along then. Still in the hallway, we're just getting started, kind of deal. Got this very odd voice. That low one there at the end. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Getting any feedback if you can hear things on here. It's a low voice. I can't make it out, so I'd appreciate any thoughts as to what it might be saying here. Maybe that's it. I'm getting a weird delay. I think the orbs are acting up on me now. Okay, so that's. I'm going to take one quick time out here because the orb having delays and audio issues. Anyone who's been on the show for any length of time knows our little deal here with the orbs. So I give them their little time here to vent, and a lot of times it makes it go away. If I can find it here. That's the problem with loading in so many EVPs tonight. It's taking me forever to find my things here. We'll take a chance. Here we go. All right, I'll give the orb. All right, so hopefully that ends our audio issues here tonight. But so this was pretty neat. There's a main section in the second floor that has the cardiology and where the old nursery was. And again, this is just kind of early on here, but just early on getting things rolling here. And there's actually a lot of activity. We've heard that it actually gets kind of neglected investigation-wise, but there's a lot of things that go on there. We've had some decent experiences in this kind of main hall. And so here now, I think this is George that has joined me. So let's... Sunday Night Dead, is that George?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm here.
Hey. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I get one call with nothing but dead air, and then another call coming in where there is... they hang up before when I just hint that it's a crank call, and I have a feeling it's we're on their radar tonight for some reason. So,
well, it's the dead air brand of radio, so why not? We'll have that happen. I'll keep things on tab, and anybody that responds in there, I'll put them in the queue for you, sir.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate your feedback on some of these too, because some of these, as we get through here, there's some interesting ones. I know you have much better ears for picking out what's being said here than others. And this is actually the first one that I think is pretty interesting because I think it's related to what you would see going on in a hospital. It could possibly even be something residual. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to turn this up a little bit and play it. Probably play it twice and then just see, George, your opinion as well as anyone in the chat. It's I will say that I believe it's 3 words, and there's a little pause in between the second and third. Here we go. Can you hear that one, George?
Is it the male voice that says "do it again"? I hear.
No, I'm hearing a whisper. Okay, I'll play it one more time. I don't want to bias you yet. 3 words.
I'm finagling with my phone because I realize that my phone has a connector for headphones. So I'm going to put my headphones on and see if I can communicate.
Okay, cool.
We've played a couple times for the chat room.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think it's 3 words. It's a whisper. It's 2 short words and then a long one. And one more.
No, I'm not able to make it out. What do you think you're hearing?
I think it's he's not, and then a pause, breathing. I'll play it again. Now, again, I get, as we always say on this, I've had the luxury of being able to hear this thing like 100 times, but here we go.
Yeah, too much back noise distortion.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, it is kind of staticky coming through on the back. So, all right. Moving right along. We then, very early on, moved to the ER, which is kind of interesting. If you would see this section, I do have some pictures posted up on this. It's not what you would expect an ER to look like, in my opinion, just because it's a small hospital, so it's a much smaller scale. It had some very interesting things going on in the ER, some very loud, I didn't include it, but some weird loud noises, which again, who knows if it's, they sound louder than what you would expect from settling, but again, just noises. So here's the next one again. This, see how this comes through. I'm going to turn this up. It repeats a couple times. This is a whisper, so I'm going to turn this up pretty loud, so warning if you got it loud on your headphones ahead of time. Here we go. That one, and again, same thing, George, background, because it was very soft coming through, and you got the footsteps. But could you hear the whisper?
I could hear the whisper. The phonetics are certainly there, but it's the hardest thing. And I've gone through this, Matt, as you know, too, time and time again, playing EVPs on a show where people have different sources that they're pulling or extracting what they're hearing, whether it's through headphones or their speakers, or if they're on their cell phones. I mean, it's just very, very difficult with the back noise distortion to it. But the important part, I think, for anybody to know when they listen to it, is it's telling if it's telling a story. What are the responses? What is the reaction to the investigators being there? You're summing up right now a lot of what's going on there. Are there intelligent responses to your questions, or are these random responses? That's the important part to note.
Right, and I will say, too, for everyone listening, too, I have these they're in chronological order, not good to bad. So there's going to be some in here that are stronger than others. Some of the ones that were whispering, but I thought were pretty cool, I would go ahead and see what's see what we're at on this thing. So here we go to number 5 here. This one's interesting because I say you'll hear a reaction from me when I go ahead and do it ahead of time, and I think the word, if it comes to, is pretty similar to it. So.
Yeah, I'm feeling very, very uncomfortable right now. Very uncomfortable.
Did you hear that one, George?
A child's voice, or at least a young female. Again, what came to my mind first was, what is that? But I could be way off. Quick question also out of the chat room from Cavill wanted to know what type of recording device.
I'd have to go back. I'd have to go back and look at the number on it. It's I use 3 of them, and they're all basically the same Sonys. One's a little older than the others, and since this was from 2011. This may have been the older one that was used, but I'd have to go back and look again. I do basic Sony ones. I don't do anything really overly high tech on these things. So let me go ahead and see. All right, this is an interesting one, and this isn't an EVP. But what we were running is, and this could, I'm going to clarify this ahead of time, that this could be simply coincidence, but I thought this was interesting in that we were in the OR, so it was right after I got this, and I thought, I'll play it again, I thought it said run away, the child's voice, and I did feel very uncomfortable right after it, so which I found was interesting. Again, I didn't hear it at the time, picked this up, and then had a weird feeling, so I'll play it one more time.
Yeah, I'm feeling very, very uncomfortable right now. Very uncomfortable.
And then sorry, I just looped the piece at the end there, so it was only said once before I said I'm feeling really uncomfortable there. But what happened shortly after this was we had they have equipment there that you can loan out. So we were messing around with an Ovilus that they had, as well as, and George, we were talking about this last week, that I don't necessarily buy into the phone apps or the flashlight as on its own, but I usually will go ahead and have some of these things going just to see if it correlates. Now, I don't really do the phone ones too much, but one of the members of our team did have the radar going at the same time, and so this is just odd, and I will say right off the bat, because I know exactly what people are going to say, that it's just a coincidence, and it very well could be, but this was just very odd, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it. You're going to hear the first words from the Ovilus, the second words from the Ghost Rider.
The voice was Terrence.
And again.
The voice was Terrence.
So again, George, not saying there's definitely something to that, but just something odd. And we did have some very weird things, Ovilus-wise, this whole investigation. So just an interesting thing that we pointed out and noticed here. So just something very odd.
Well, there's an old funny saying, and I love this saying. It says, I have a broken watch and it's still right twice a day. That you could sit there and people will sit and just dissect almost everything that's out there. When people post, whether it's their audio, they post their video, they post an Ovilus session, a Spirit Box session, people are going to immediately dissect it and attribute it a lot of time to coincidence, timing, contamination, all these different factors that come involved with it. But again, this is a trial and error system that we are working with right now, and there are new devices that are coming out all the time. Who's to say in the next 2 to 3 years they're not going to come out with a cheapo version of a thermal imaging camera that you can apply to your smartphone, where you can utilize that while you're doing an investigation. Anything is possible out there, but if we don't try these things, we don't know whether or not it's going to be applicable or not. It just happens to be, especially for somebody that's built the way you are in your mindset, Matthew, with statistics, it has to have a consistency to it. But you can't build a consistency until you start to experiment with it.
Right, and really what we do here is I really try to get, and there'll be more in here as it goes, but and we've talked about this before, you look for multiple things. So like getting a voice around the time that I said I feel really uncomfortable, to me, has more to it than either one of those things alone. What we really like is when somebody feels they may have gotten touched, you get a EMF hit, and you get something recorded as well. So we just kind of look for the multiple things there. What I do with the flashlights is I don't record, I don't take any of the answers, mark this down and go, we talked to a little boy in room 17, over this. But sometimes I'll lay it out just as an indicator, because I'd say more than half the time, if that's going on, we are picking things up. So I use it almost as a very rough kind of indicator out there, just to see if we get any correlations with things. Again, we've talked about this as well, that I just go kind of very broad approach here and see what kind of hangs together and see what doesn't. So again, that could have been very much coincidence. I just thought it was interesting, so I shared it. So still in the ER, and this actually, the first investigation was the longest time out of any of the nights we were here that we spent in the ER. It seemed to be the time where we had the most activity in there, as well as, based on what happens later on this night and on future investigations, the clinic area and then that whole third floor area, which really does give me the creeps, increasingly became the focus. But here's another one from the ER as well. Again, I'll note on this that to me it sounds, I know it's hard to differentiate with whispers, but a lot of these voices sound similar to me. So. So I'm hearing female whisper like that, George.
Yeah, again, coming across from this part of it, a lot of it just sounds like pareidolia, but again, there's a difference, and people have to understand this too, Matt, and this is something that can easily be explained away when you're taking something out of context, such as what you're doing right now, is that they can sit there and go, well, it sounds like clothing rubbing together or the recorder rubbing against somebody's hand. Anything's potentially possible going on out there. But when you are listening to hours upon hours upon hours, like you do, like I do, like Mike does, you get to the point in time where your ear becomes very well trained as to know what is pareidolia or what is cloth rubbing or what is somebody breathing, what is somebody whispering, versus something that just does not fit in there, not to mention the fact of redundancy, which is there's other recorders that may be in the same area, but they don't pick up the same sound that this does, helps to substantiate that this is really something that's captured that is probably spirit phenomena or an electronic voice phenomena, because it's imprinted only on that individual recorder. So it's, again, looking at it from somebody who's just listening to it in that segment or in that fragmented message. It's hard to pull and extract what it is that's being said at the moment. But again, how many times did you listen to it before putting it and posting it for the show? So knowing you as an investigator, I've investigated with you at Curse City. You're a skeptic at heart. You're going to sit there and dissect everything before you put anything out there. So judging on that aspect of who you are as an investigator, who you are as an individual, I have to sit there and go, that's phenomenal. Again, you can hear that. You can hear that female tone. The funny part is right now, what you've come across and played, it's only been 3 or 4 different ones, but you seem to have more of a female contact in that building more than anything male, at least to this point in time.
Yeah, I'd say downstairs in the hallway and ER, the whole second floor area, I believe this night it was more female and children that we were picking up. Third floor, it'll be at least in the beginning in the OR, and again, this is what we were trying to contact with the dual spirit box session, primarily from this evening. That to me sounds male, but that's coming. I mean, there's a whole large series coming up from that one. That if I don't get to it by the time we hit the top of the hour, I'm going to skip right to it because that's probably the best section here on this. And you know, you know as well, George, because we've talked about this a lot of times too. That you can differentiate over time hearing these things that are similar sounds, but you're always almost anything you put out. Somebody's going to rip into it, and so I've always taken the approach, too, of I don't really worry too much about that. It is what it is, and put it out there. And, I mean, I even had somebody one time not in the field. We were talking, and I'm like, so you can't hear any of the voices? He's like, oh, yeah, I can hear the voices, but I'm not sure if it's you just have somebody talking and saying it. So, I mean, again, you're always going to have that. I'm not we've talked before on this, too. I'm not out here to prove that there's something out there. I'm just view myself as kind of a data collector, seeing what we get.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you're going to go on the court of public opinion, you might as well not be in this field because you are always going to be scrutinized. You're always going to be judged. And the bottom line of it is that you've been there. You're doing this investigating. You know the experiences, and you know the environment during those investigations, who's there, who's not there. You have your memory to go back on, and of course, any video footage that you're collecting at that time to substantiate that nothing was going on during a specific time frame when something has been captured. There's a lot more to it, but when you're trying to condense it, again, into fragmented pieces of audio on a show, no video to substantiate and back it up unless you start posting everything on YouTube, which is painstaking, time-consuming, and again, still going to be judged nonetheless. For those out there who are, seasoned investigators and understand what it is that we all do out there, there's still going to be a level of respect for the people who are listening in and understanding how difficult it is. And Class C, Class B EVPs are always going to be more consistent. The Class A's come far and few between, but when we do, it's an exciting thing to be able to promote out there. We just have to look at the aspect that it's going to come in different levels, and we have to accept, at least at this level in our field of study, we're going to have to contend with that still for some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the last from the ER section, and but I'm going to say ahead of time, I think this is one of the softer ones as well. So let's see. I'll crank this up a bit. Yeah, you're not even going to hear that. I took a chance on that one, but there's enough noise in front of it that I don't think you can. That's going to come through on this. So let me jump right to the clinic. So we moved to the clinic, which actually doesn't rank much below third floor of South Pittsburg in terms of creepiness and discomfort. This is the area, George, that the show a month ago was where when you were watching the video on the third floor of what was going on, we were distracted down in the clinic because you remember everybody was clustered together at first, so Pam and I said, well, we'll just move to kind of force some degree of people spreading out. And so we moved down to the clinic, and that's when we heard big crashing. Really did sound like somebody was trying to break down a door. What was odd before that, now that we're out of the investigation, I will add, we got we had walkies there, and we had a guy come through on the walkie-talkie like right after the show, and just kind of talking and saying, how you doing? And then he's like, you're in the hospital, right? And what floor are you on? And like asking, trying to figure out where our location was. And then we started hearing all this banging. So that was kind of the first thing we thought of was someone trying to break into the place. Something else I find interesting is when we went out a year ago, the second and third night, we ran a simulation during the day, the second day, where we were pretending that there was a shooting downtown and that they were still on the loose and that we were afraid they were going to try to raid the hospital to get drugs out of the pharmacy. So we were evacuating the whole clinic and doing things down in the clinic with the idea that somebody was trying to break into the clinic. So, again, could be just total coincidence, but I found it very, very kind of interesting that we had a whole issue of sounding like somebody was trying to break in the clinic the next time we're there after we ran the simulation of that. So, but here we go on this one. I'm going to turn this one up. Honestly, I can't make this one out, so let's see what we get.
Do we leave anything?
And again, feedback might be a problem.
Do we leave anything?
I don't know if you can hear that, George, because there is a banging, but there's a different sound in with that that again is not back.
Very beginning.
Sorry.
Beginning part, is that an investigator, Matthew, speaking, that's whispering?
Hang on here. My voice is in there, but it should only be my voice. Let me play it again.
Do we leave anything?
No, it's strictly my voice in the back half of that.
There's a Class A there, dude. Play it a couple times.
Do we leave anything?
Can you make? I can't.
I got something up. You guys
there.
in the chat room can help out too, but it sounds like who was shot.
Okay, here we go. Do it again.
Do we leave anything?
And again.
Do we leave anything?
I can hear that.
I mean, can you pick it out on your side that's there? Because I don't even know if you're able to hear that other than your voice.
I can hear it now. I mean, I know there's always that bias thing once since it, but I mean, I can hear that was the voice I was picking up. I just couldn't make out what was being said.
Yeah, it sounds like.
More time here.
Do we leave anything?
Yeah, who was shot? Who was shot? That's what it sounds like.
Ah, cool. All right. And this is another one in the clinic. Now, this one, two very different voices. So I'm gonna just set it up this way on this. This is also down in the clinic, so this would have been same time period, so roughly the same time we were investigating around the time we got that earlier voice there, that who was shot. And this is two different voices saying two different words. So I'll just go ahead and play it, see if you can. The second one you should easily be able to hear because it's pretty loud and pretty low. But here we go. Gonna turn it up. Let me try it low, because actually sometimes the whispery ones sound better when it's lower. Less distortion. One more time, a little louder. Can you hear two there, George?
First one I can't hear. It just sounds like shuffling. The second voice sounds like it's saying nurse.
Oh, okay. I was thinking a yes, but let me play that again. It's a very low voice.
Yeah, tomato. Melissa says she hears nurse also, but tomato on that one. Yeah, you could definitely convert that to a yes, one or the other. But again, with lack of content, we don't know.
Exactly. Now, what was really interesting here was compared to Trans-Allegheny, and this was my first time in this location, you know that Trans-Allegheny, with the way the Kirkbride buildings are designed to let light in, with only a few exceptions, you can pretty much move around that building with no need for any external lighting. I mean, you can see your way around there pretty well. What I was surprised at about South Pittsburg is when the sun went down, just how dark it got inside that place. And so what happens is we were actually inside a room doing some experiments, early sunset, let's say. And so the sun went down then before we went back out into the hallway. We went back out into the hallway, and I commented about how dark it is out there, and I believe this is a one-word comment to me saying how dark it is out here. So I'll just go ahead and play it, see what you all think. Turn it up a little bit. We try it again. And one more time. Now I'm not sure. Can you hear that extra? It's kind of like that one he was shot.
No, it sounds like
with the voice.
separate. Again, it's a female, two separate, but I hear pitch black in whisper form in the middle.
Okay. Here we go again. Okay, one more time. I was hearing relax, but again, like you said, tomato, tomato. I mean, that would even be the kind of cadence of that's kind of similar too.
Well, you're hearing, what is it you're hearing?
I'm hearing relax.
Okay, so, and again, it could be tone, and again, it's interpretation, but it could be tone when you're talking about the fact of how dark it is in there. The response could be that they're trying to calm you down, yes, in context to stay relaxed, but at the same time it goes in the other direction where, again, where they're helping to describe it. You're saying it's dark, and they're like, yeah, it's pitch black dark in here. So, again, it's hard when you're dealing with Class B, Class C with noise distortion on top of that to come to a summation. But, I know you do it with your investigators the same way that I do it with my investigators, and especially if I'm going out and going to another location, I have to send out emails to different people and say, take a listen to this, tell me what you get. But even in those circumstances, I'll get back 2 or 3 different opinions on what they're hearing as well. And you're looking always for a common denominator, but when the pitch is that low, it becomes too judgmental, unfortunately, in this community, because people are going to hear different things out of it. But both would fall into context, whether it is relaxed because they think that you're getting a little bit too concerned about the lack of visibility, or they're just confirming what you're saying by saying pitch black.
And it's just, the other thing, too, is just a reminder to everybody what trying to do with this is kind of paint the picture of what we were all getting during the course of these 5 nights leading up to the Spirit Box session that we did last month, because I think at least with the OR pieces and some of the interesting things that we had with that, there's some things that connect with it. And there's also some other pieces of this that kind of flow through the, at least maybe 2 of the 3 investigations, maybe not all 3 times that we were there. Now, not far from where you end up sleeping, that nurse's station on the 2nd floor has a lot of activity as well. And this was just an odd one. This is just kind of a outlier here that I caught that I just wanted to include. So hopefully you guys can hear it. Turn it down. That one might be one that does better lower. And again, it's looped.
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing "Believe in Me."
Yeah, potentially. The phonetics are there. One more time.
This was actually one that was just kind of. This was just one sitting out at the nurse's station at the time.
I could hear that.
So, and again, there's another area. This is something that, this is just personal experience. And what's interesting here is I had this odd experience at, we call it the intersection. There's a main area where 3 long hallways and 1 short hallway branch off from each other. If you're familiar with some of the pictures and things from South Pittsburg, it's kind of the short hallway is where the tricycle is, where they show the picture of the hallway with the tricycle, kind of a well-known image from the location. Well, I'm going through this intersection and had this very weird experience. What's interesting is, and I have it a couple clips later, Kevin from my team goes through the intersection and has a similar experience. As it turns out, in subsequent investigations, not as intense as either one of these, but this has been an experience that I believe William had the last time we were here as well. So it's just an interesting thing. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. Again, there's no extra voices to listen to here. This is just a unusual experience that I had at the intersection.
Come on, take a picture of me, quick. Quick, left here. It's gone now, but so particular. I felt like I was having a heart attack there for a second, like something ran through me. Yeah, crushing on my chest. Whew, I didn't like that.
Best way I can describe it is, you hear these stories of people that, are fine, just doing something and then keel over. That's almost what I thought was going to happen, George. It was as if somebody, 500 pounds was sitting on my chest, and it was very, very sudden, and very, very tight. And nothing came up on the pictures they took, but again, just a very odd experience there. Now I'm going to jump right to Kevin. This was maybe an hour later in the same location. So this is Kevin going through. A little bit different, but similar and odd.
How did you feel a while ago when that hit you?
Like I was going to have a heart attack.
Sharp pain, chest, or what?
Pressure. Sharp pressure, or intense pressure.
Happened to you now?
Felt like a needle jabbed in my chest.
What's going on here?
Right here. Standing right in the corner.
It's right in our hours.
And I've had chest pains, before from stress and everything, but that was somebody stuck a hypodermic needle deep in my chest. Did somebody walk just pass through me?
Now I'll add, George, you've investigated with me, and some other people I know that are on here have investigated with me before. I stay pretty darn calm through most of these things. I'm not somebody that starts running around jumping and yelling and things on stuff. I stay pretty calm and even keeled. So that was a rather disturbing experience I had, and then Kevin afterwards, and William on my team as well. I honestly forget if it was the second or third time we were there. Had the same thing. So there's this odd experience. It's all been men. It's all been in that intersection. But again, just a kind of intense chest pain in that area.
It was those damn 14 Red Bulls you had earlier in the night.
Yeah, but it's just, again, it's odd. I'm not saying it's absolutely something paranormal, but part of what I'm trying to do here, and this is why I like interacting with other teams on this as well, is if anyone else is out there listening to this that's been in that location and had that happen as well, obviously this would have more significance to it if 7, 8 different people in different teams that didn't know each other and didn't know they had that experience there had that experience. So.
Well, it's an indicator, and we talk about the fact that, anybody out there, when they start asking about what's your best piece of equipment, everybody talks about the human body. When you have a redundant activity going on where other people are experiencing the same thing, first thing that comes to mind, if it's in the same particular location and it happens to be happening to the males, it probably would fall under the aspect of attachment, in the sense that whatever occurrence, maybe somebody there had suffered cardiac arrest in that particular location, and you are going through the same electronic components that spirit is reliving, even if it's a residual that's built into the building itself, your body's impulses are responding to that impulse. And so that's why that continues, that ticker issue continues to replay itself over and over to each mail that goes in there. Yeah, absolutely. This would be something that you want to definitely talk to the proprietor and find out if you can get a log set up there where they can set, as investigators are going through their almost a journal of a sort, Matthew, where people go in and see that 3 investigators, yourself included, have had this particular event going on. Is there something that is a redundancy in that area where other investigators can go in and add to that log and simply say, yes, at this time, on this date, here's my age, I didn't do coffee, I didn't do Red Bull, but I had that same significant event at that same significant location that the other investigators did as well. It's a good aspect to at least show that it is not just a random event of your health issue and then everybody else's psyche going into programming, that it's other people going in there and having the same significant event as well.
Exactly, and for people listening out there, that's for some of these. That's the point of kind of getting it out there to see if it links into what other people are experiencing. Because again, if we there could be some aspects out here that people sit on just because they don't feel it's strong enough on its own. That little do you know, a lot of other people are experiencing it as well. So,
I mean, they're experimenting around,
yeah.
As well as they talk about lab rats. Where they will basically use electroshock on a group of rats in a laboratory, and they will remove those rats and bring another set of rats in who have not been experimented on, and their anxiety is heightened because of the remaining pheromones. So in a circumstance like this, although we're not lab rats, and this is not by any aspect a maze, but in a sense it is, where we're going into there and our anxiety is already heightened as an investigator, but when there are residual energies and residual emotions that are left behind, we're not able to really explain or understand why we get the reactions that we get and why all of a sudden there's an overwhelming emotion of sadness or rage or physical impalements, whether it be feeling shortness of breath, tightness in the chest, these different factors that come into play. Are they surrounding us, and it's not intentional or intelligent, it just happens to be part of the building's echo that people are picking up on that causes these events to be experienced by the investigators that go in there. It's a very good possibility, very strong possibility in theory we're all looking at.
Interesting. This is one voice I caught at that intersection. This wasn't at the exact same time, but similar time frames. Let's see again. This was an unidentified one, but I'm going to go ahead and play it because that he was shot. You could make out far better than I did. So here we go. And again, I'll turn it up a little bit. It's kind of in the middle there. And I'll play it once really soft because sometimes they come out better with less distortion. I make out like an ing in it, but that's it.
And I heard hurry on that. Again, female, definitely female. And then...
I'm sorry, I bumped that by accident. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Yeah, hurry, and then there's a lot of different movement sounds going on there as well. Play it again a couple times. It was somewhere in the mid-range.
And one more time, or two more times. And one more. I can hear that.
Yeah, but out of context could be Harry, could be hurry, could be carry. Carry something out of there. And this is a discussion we talk about all the time, Matthew. Is again, we're trying to, at this point in time, anybody out there that's in the field of study has seen enough evidence posted out there to know that there is, without question, spirit phenomena that's occurring. There are still people out there that just for the sake of being the naysayer, sits there and goes, I've never had an experience in my life. I've never captured anything. I've never seen anything. But for the most part, the majority of investigators out there have captured some really good substantial evidence out there and is presented out there. And so we know what's going on. But we are still trying to figure out what to do with it now. When we're doing these EVP sessions and we're still getting monosyllabic responses or one or two word responses, or we're just getting random distorted responses that have nothing in content of what we're asking, why are they happening the way they're happening? So we're now not going to the aspect of what if. We're now going as the aspect of why. Why do things happen the way they do? Why do the responses happen the way they do? And how can we better enhance this communication back and forth? Either way, we got to pursue forward and press forward. Whether we have phenomenal captures or whether we have nothing whatsoever, there's always the next mission, the next location to go on to.
Well, one of the things, this is why I like doing the repeat locations. It's interesting when you pick up at different investigations, different times, even years apart, very similar voices saying similar things. I know, and it might just be a matter that it's residual. Violent male ward in Tala, I've gotten the same weird hissing voice come over multiple times, and as far as picking up something else on that, that's the only area where I get it. So it's just a very odd thing. I'm going to add real quick here too. I've seen two people post that they're having trouble in the chat. So if other people are having issues, let me know. Best thing I can advise is try refreshing it and see how that goes. This next one here, before we take a quick break, and then I'll jump into the whole OR incident. Let's see here. This was an interesting one in that down in the clinic, we got I got this very odd smell and weird odor. What I didn't know is I caught this right before the odd smell. So again, this is another one that I personally find interesting, so I'd like to get people's thoughts on this because it's just interesting that it correlated with bizarre smell and then picked up something odd on the recorder. So here it is. Ugh.
Strong smell.
I'll turn that up. Yep. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, I'm having blog talk issues as well. It's almost like the button sticking when I'm clicking on things, and it's... Here we go. I'm going to go a little louder. I'm not going to play all the looping of it at the end. I'll play the whole thing and maybe one of the...
Matt, before you do,
yeah.
And this is something, again, years of doing this, and I know there's an individual named Cavret in the chat, but a lot of us out there who love the audio. Before I started doing a lot of work and training with Spirit Box, EVP was the love of my life for years, and this goes back to when I was still in the military, and as a Russian linguist, we had to listen to 12 straight hours of flight transmissions. So, I've always loved doing that part of it, but there's a tone and a tempo with the responses that come across, but here's the eerie aspect, and people listen very carefully in this. When we have dealt with malevolent entities, when we have dealt with things that were not simple spirit form, there is a very metallic or underwater sound that accompanies it. And this particular one, out of all the ones you've played, this is the only one that's come across with this particular sound. But listen to the metallic journey when you're playing this as it goes through that voice. And that's the first male voice, by the way, that you're picking up, that you're playing for us as well. So very interesting. I want to hear this definitely for sure again.
And I'll add, we picked up a metallic, because I was going to get people's thoughts on that, a gurgly kind of underwater one at the end here. So there'll be two in this whole set. Here we go.
Ugh. Strong smell.
Yeah, definitely picking up the metallic piece. So I had not heard that before, but I also wouldn't say that I've had anything that I've been confident was a malevolent that I've interacted with. So that's interesting to hear. What do you think it's saying, George?
There is a discerning aspect to the way that the voice is portraying and coming across, number one. Number two, an accompaniment of a foul smell, which we always relate to, either the smell of sulfur or rotten eggs. The statement sounds like you're on my time or you're on my side.
Okay. I'll add here that I thought, but again, just all opinion, I was hearing we don't have to hide, but here we go. Let's play it again.
Okay.
Ugh. Strong smell.
There it is. So I don't know.
Yeah. Interested to know from the experiences, and I know Melissa's in the chat as well, that particular locale, were there any other reports or feelings of negativity in that particular area of the hospital?
Well, I will add that that was actually in the pharmacy part of the clinic. And it's funny, the other gurgly sound that I'm going to play towards the very end is up on the third floor. And it just turns out that the clinic area and the third floor are, in my opinion, two of the most kind of oppressive and ominous feeling places I've ever been in. So, very interesting. All right. What I'm going to do is play a quick break song here, get a drink here, let people run, get refills on whatever they're doing, and then we'll start off with what happened up in the OR that night, which really is what set up why I wanted to do the dual spirit box session. And again, that's part of this. I think even, George, for your information as well, I think it's interesting coming up to the whole background as to what was going on here and why I was so interested in doing it in the OR, since we did have some very interesting things go on, unfortunately at Williams' expense, that night a month ago. So we'll be right back. The song's about 3 minutes.
Rosemary, heaven restores you in life. You're coming with me through the aging, the fearing, the strife. It's the smiling on the package, it's the faces in the sand. It's the thought that moves you upward, embracing me with two scars under the belly, lay some grease inside my hand. It's a sentimental jury and the makings of a good plan. You come to love me lightly, yeah, you come to hold me tight. Is this motion everlasting, or do shudders pass in the night? Rosemary, oh heaven restores you in light. I spent a lifespan with no cellmate, a long way back. Sandy, why can't we look the other way? You're weightless, semi-erotic. You need someone to take you there. Sandy, why can't we look the other way? Why can't we just play the other game? Why can't we just look the other way?
I'm Trevor. I'm Ian. I'm Blaine with the awesome hair.
And I am Nigel. And we're part of the scariest thing you've ever heard, the boy band. And you're listening to our friends on Sunday Night Dad.
All right, we're back. And to K-Brad, I would add, yeah, if you're not picking up the tease, I would certainly be interested in if you can make out what's being said there. Again, it's just interesting, particularly that it correlated with the bad smell, that last one. So going to dive right in here. Here, George, you back?
You're so weird. You know that?
Why?
Those orbs.
Oh no, that was a boy band. That was a kind of taking a shot at my not a shot, but having fun with my my kids over some of the boy bands my daughters like. So
so scary.
So what happened in the OR? We thought, and I think it'll come up here that I was, how wrong I was on this, that we were interacting with a child. Just seemed to be kind of the nature of what was going on. Obviously, we were wrong on this. We will get, just kind of giving the background as to what happened here before I go into any of the clips. We had this background going on. There's a story in the third floor of a possible pedophile. There's been some odd audio captured from people that seem to, indicate that there's somebody up there interested in kids and not in a good way. And all I'd say is, we're in there having some, doing some EVP sessions, and then the feeling in the room changed. And I mentioned at that point that if this is the person that hurts kids, we don't want to talk to you. We have nothing to say to you. And it wasn't long after that I started feeling not so hot, and felt lousy enough that eventually I stopped investigating and actually go down to lie down for a while just because I wasn't feeling too good. And it wasn't like Exorcist bouncing up and down, but soon I felt like the bed was shaking, like somebody was shaking the bed. Not hard, but me on either side, mutually trying to wake me up or get me out of bed. And then I felt like somebody was patting my head, which is a fairly frequent occurrence. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm not going to get any rest anyway. I might as well still keep investigating. And so I went back up on the third floor, but not in the OR. And one of the things, because, again, it was just a weird feeling, and so I said at the time, because I still wasn't feeling good, that I'll make a deal. If you leave me alone the rest of the time, I won't go back into the OR that night. And basically started feeling better not long after that, and I did not go back in the OR this investigation any other times after this. So let's see. And before I dive into this, let's see who we got a caller here. I think there's somebody might have tried to call in earlier. Area code 781. Hello.
Yeah, hi. This is Jiggy, actually.
Hey, Jiggy. How are you? Yeah.
Okay, how you doing? I'm the host of the Thursday night show. I was just listening. It's just very interesting because I was in my investigation, I've never come across anything that I deem to be, scary or evil or anything. So when I'm listening to you talk about that, like how you were kind of shook and everything, it's just kind of, I haven't experienced that yet. So I don't want to, but God bless you for going through it, brother.
Well, I say it hasn't been frequent, and that's why this one's stuck in my head, and that's why I wanted to do the spirit box back in the OR, because again, people that know that have investigated with me, and I'm not portraying myself as some large expert here or ace investigator or anything, but I love doing this, and so I am kind of intense in doing it. I mean, it pains me to take a bathroom break, doing these things, and even in the hospital where I got to learn after doing these. I still haven't learned my lesson that when you're in there for 2 nights, you got to pace yourself better, because I end up not and feeling like total hell the second night. But so it just the fact that I felt uncomfortable enough to stop and go back and lay down, and then I got to tell you, it's probably from some of these experiences. That is an area that I just I will not go there solo. It's the layout in the building. It's a isolated stairwell that you have to take to get up there. So the whole third floor itself, you're kind of isolated from everything else, and it just has a odd feel to it. So it's, in my opinion, at least as of now, the last place I would go solo on.
Gotcha. I don't know there at all.
It's an amazing place, and Cindy and Doug are great to work with there, and having the larger time blocks allows you to do some more kind of unique things. So we did that shooting simulation, and we were able to do that over 5-6 hours, where we had that script going on because we had bodies come in, so we were moving from the ER to X-ray to OR, doing that. Then later on, severe storms came through, so we did a tornado warning and evacuated up in the third floor on that. And there's a PA system, so I had the audio on, and I was having these open mic incidents because I was acting like it was my first day running the hospital. And so I'd have the mic on and act like I was done with my announcement and forgot to turn it off, and say things like, I told them a half a mile from the building, but the tornadoes were right in the direct path of the tornado, and things like that, just to see if we'd stir up responses. And that's later on in this. So again, hopefully, going back through these, there were so many going through that there's some that I actually forgot. So I want to go back through this all, and if I have cool ones from that, I will definitely play it for everyone. And again, that's why I wanted to try this. I know it's something a little different, but since there's so many in succession here, and I was going to review the last night on this show anyway with the Spirit Box, I kind of wanted to do these things periodically to set this up. So jumping in this, I will say this first one, the OR set, I believe, are clearer. A lot of these come through clearer than the things that have been previously played. But this one's probably the one that might be the hardest to hear because, again, this is behind. It comes through almost at the same time as I am talking. But see if you guys can make this one out. This is the first one, and again, it's a similar voice, and there's going to be a similar pattern to what's being said. So. I'll do it again. You can almost hear the echo of it. And I'll do it one more time. So again, not sure what's there. It just, again, to me sounds like something behind what I was while I was talking. And again, there's going to be a whole other series of these right after this. So this was like right in line with other things that we were picking up. So I'll jump right into the next one. See if you guys can make this one out. I'll turn it down a little bit. And to me, again, similar tone to the other one that I just played. Here we go. And I'll try it up loud. Can you hear that, George?
Oh, the first one, I thought it said Jiggy. Said wow. I don't know. I couldn't make anything out on that second one. It was too quick. It was, again, any response monosyllabic, any one-syllable responses, again, can be torn apart depending upon who's hearing it. But it just sounds like a big old wow. So it's Jiggy wow.
Now, wait a minute. This was recorded before I called in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's saying Jiggy wow, we may need to go back there and talk to this thing.
Well, keep remembering, though, that it's, there's a theory that the spirits are precognizant, so maybe they knew that Matthew was going to play this tonight when you called in.
Oh, see, there we go. So we may definitely have to go back there and investigate this place.
Well, here we go. I'm gonna play that one again for you. I thought, but again, you can be biased. I admit here on this that already knowing what I experienced in that room probably biased me as to what I think I'm hearing. So that's why I wanted to get everyone else's opinion on this. I heard a two-syllable derogatory word.
It's too quick.
Yeah, I'm just answering to K-Rat 2. I have, and maybe some of these other clips have more longer things on them. I obviously have the whole, 22 hours on tape here, or not on tape, but recorded here. I don't know if I have a lot longer ones to get background on these specific clips. Here's another one. This one's longer, so see what you guys think on this one. I'm going to loop it. Here it is again. I don't know, George. What do you think on that one? I'm not sure what it is. Again, it seemed to stand out as from the other noises there, so I think it's something, but have my own opinion, but not sure. Could you make any of that one out, or is that too hissy for you?
Well, again, off of my speakerphone of my telephone, it sounds like a slam, a drag, and a shh, and that's it. I couldn't get anything really out of it, and if I did, it would just be guesswork.
Okay. Let's jump right on to the next one.
Thank you. This is a child.
So this is much like, and I think almost possibly the same word as the other one. You're going to hear, again, it's like behind me.
Thank you. This is a child.
Okay,
Again, not sure if you can make that out. I'm sorry?
Yeah, it sounds like something saying "shut up" to me, though. Now I'm on my headset on my phone, but it sounds to me like at the end. I don't know if one of you is. If you're saying "shut up," but I heard something say "shut up."
No, I'm the only one talking, and so here again, because how this was doing here is we were in the again, we're all kind of sitting in the OR here, so.
Thank you. This is a child.
Now, that part of the shut is that's Matt. Something being shut is what he's saying in that part of it. It's at the very beginning when Matthew starts speaking that you hear the behind me under his voice. I can hear that.
Yeah, one more time here.
Thank you. This is a child.
And then I think this one might be separate from my voice, so let's go right to the next one here.
3, 4.
that should be plain and clear because the other voice is no one in my team. We'll do it again.
3, 4.
Now, Jiggy, that sounds like shut up.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like shut up.
Yeah. That's what I thought on it. We'll play it again a little bit louder.
3, 4.
All right, this next one, and I'll turn it down a little bit. Give people a warning ahead of time. This is loud, and this is kind of interesting in that, again, we thought we were interacting with a child. There's definitely people get evidence of children in this area, and then we thought possibly this pedophile was interacting here. I will add ahead of time. This is an odd noise, but this is a noise that we did not hear at the time, and it's loud enough we would have reacted to it or tagged it. And I have to say, out of 5 of the nights here, I've never picked up this noise any other time. So not sure what this is. You can read into it as to what it sounds like, but I find it interesting.
If this is still. If this is still. If this is still. If this is still.
I don't know, just odd.
My first
toy or something. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, to me, a little girl. Just sometimes they just have that high pitch that just decalcifies your spinal column, and
or like she's screeching. If you it sounds like she's screeching, like if something bad was happening to her, that might even be like a high pitched screech, like a scream almost.
Have you ever seen a kid during an inoculation at the doctor?
Oh, yeah. I've been that kid.
Yeah. I've had to be the bad guy doing the bear hug sometimes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and play that again.
If this is still. If this is still. If this is still. If this is still.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, if you want to label it, anybody can label it. You play that to 20 different people. Some people will say that is a whistle, one of the team members, and it just was ignored. No one really even paid attention to it when it happened. To an animal, possibly a bird, anything of that aspect of it could be looked at. What really has to be compounded with that, Matthew, and you know as well as I do, is what you can't present on a show is the video footage that goes along with that. Was anybody whistling? A second recorder that happened to be in the same vicinity, and you say, we tagged the time. It was 1:28 a.m. on both recorders, and here's the first recorder, and there's a whistle, and here's the second recorder, and nothing's on it. Those are the things that help substantiate. But again, you're the one that's there, so based upon memory and reviewing everything else, that nothing else was caught off of that time, and you guys didn't hear it and remark to it at that, and you certainly didn't tag it as one of the team members whistling. So it again helps to substantiate that there was something beyond the norm of what your normal ear would have heard.
Yes, and again, it's just something I found interesting. Again, trying to kind of paint the overall picture of what we were picking up here. So again, not just odd. I will say I have not, whatever that was, I have not ever picked that up any other time. So again, not sure what it was, but it definitely was something unique. So now, basically, what happens is, and this isn't a big thing. I just found this interesting. So I decide to pack it up, and oh no, I'm jumping ahead of time. Sorry, I'm not packing it up yet.
Assume you're not lying to me.
Doing it again. Hang on. The orbs are wreaking havoc with me tonight. So we start talking, and still trying to find out if it's trying to get some type of response. Is this a child? Is this the person that hurts the person? So
assume you're not lying to me, because I do not want to speak to that individual.
again, I kind of looped it at the end there, but I'm saying, I assume you're not lying to me, which, I've always talked on the show that I never assumed that anything that I would hear, if I heard anything, is the truth. But I think, again, same kind of whispering sound. There's a response here. Here we go.
Assume you're not lying to me, because I do not want to speak to that individual.
Kind of
that
broke
one,
up
George and Jiggy.
the second play.
Okay, here we go.
Assume you're not lying to me, because I do not want to speak to that individual.
I hear some, Jiggy. What do you hear?
Maybe yes, yeah, like yes, just a quick yes, like yes, but just very, very low.
I got a full sentence, female, again, young, saying, I guess when you're talking about the one that's lying, describing it, because I hear, that's a patient. But in the tempo speed of, that's a patient, is what I'm hearing.
Okay, here we go. We're going to do it again.
Assume you're not lying to me, because I do not want to speak to that individual.
I can hear that. Interesting. Yeah.
So who's lying to you is a patient. Again, this is what we talked about, Matthew, coming with me to Curse City, the old Florida ghost town, and giving you the storyline, the background of the things that have transpired there. And even though it is as you experienced, a constant evolving scenario at that location, anything's possible, finding out the storyline to be able to, when you have the convenience of going back to a place such as that, try and connect the dots and make a story out of it, so that if this person that's been lying to you and maybe being deceitful is a patient, psychiatric or otherwise, it gives you an idea of which direction to go in your questioning upon your next return.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's just very interesting again, and particularly when you're getting similar. Again, I know the skeptics will say, well, it's the similar thing that you're matrixing sound-wise, but it's interesting that these were pretty much up in this area right now. What sounded like a young girl and this other male voice. Which here's another one from. This is close to starting to not feel so good now. So this is close to where I'm going to start packing it up here. Again, and once you come, I don't think my voice is in this at all, so it pretty much stands alone. This is nobody from the team. And one more time. Turn up a little bit. There's noise in the beginning, but then the voice will come after. Do you hear that one, Jiggy? I think that one's pretty clear.
Can you play one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Sure. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I'm listening. I'm trying to see everything I hear.
There's some noise in the front. It might be me actually packing up, and then the voice. Here we go. One more time.
See, it sounds like there's more than one thing going on there.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you say something at the very end or if that's something, but I also sound like there's something in the background. Speak like more than one thing going on. But
no, it's not.
I hear you dragging your equipment, but I'm not talking about you dragging the equipment or whatever you're moving or packing up.
There's no team member voice in here. This is that voice that comes through is not from the team. Here we go. You hearing that one, George?
No, not at all. I hear the female tone at the beginning, but again, in one syllable. Couldn't make out what that is. Actually, it almost sounds like you're packing. The very first thing, you're packing, and then the other part keeps cutting out while you're playing it. It's a little bit, but the first time hearing it, it's still very, very weak to pick out. But I wonder if you hear the same thing in the first part. The first strong tone, if she's saying you're packing.
Here we go, one more time.
Didn't hear that at all.
And maybe it's okay. Maybe this is a good lesson in me hearing things. I hear a male "you suck" about halfway through it. About 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I want to reconfirm. I think she is saying you're packing, and then "you suck," like they're not happy you're leaving.
Oh, hang on. There. Yeah. So.
Play it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yes, that was one. I mean, there's some of these other ones that it was, kind of rough. That one, again, unless I was matrixing it out of it, sounded kind of clear to me. The next one here, there's no voices in this. I just confirmed this because this is interesting. And this isn't when, when you pick up a millimeter and you get sometimes the output will spike. This is I'm up, already packed, working my way out of the OR. Again, we hardly pick up anything in this place. I got two very odd spikes, 9.3 and 5.3, and it's, again, on its own, it is what it is, but given the context of that I was feeling rather lousy and some other things that went on, I just wanted to include this, just kind of document that, again, just another odd occurrence, because, again, we usually don't pick up much EMF at all in this place.
That's the thing, Kim. I'm feeling very uncomfortable. I don't think this thing wants to talk. I think it wants to hassle. I'm inclined to leave this room.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Okay.
I have no patience to talk.
Yeah. And I said you weren't welcome to try to hurt any of us, so you can stay here. I am done talking to you.
I think you guys want to talk to you about
Get a hold of the side of you guys.
Wherever. 9.3. Wow. 5.3.
Again, I'm not saying it was definitely something, but again, just another odd occurrence in that area around the time we were getting other things, which again is one of the things that I like to at least look for is, do we get any combination of events around itself. So then this next set, there's only a couple left here before we're done, is after I went downstairs, laid down, had the whole patting on the head, bed shaking. I went back up to third floor, but kind of the opposite end of the floor from where the ORs are is a row of a hallway of rooms they call the psych ward, although it was probably used for multiple things as well. If you hear on the shows about Nellie's room, it's the area where that was as well. But these four are going to be all in the hallway, and then there's a nurse's station kind of in the center. So these are all in that general area. So here we go. See if this one See if you can make this one out.
Number 3 have a lot of...
Again, it's in the beginning. It's not that noise towards the end.
Number 3 have a lot of...
All right, I'm just going to assume on that one, because I'm having a hard time hearing that one on the phone, that that one's going to be hard to hear. So we're just going to move on. This one, again, psych ward as well. Okay, that's at the very end. That I'm hearing 2 words. Here we go again. I'll play it one more time. Again, it's at the very end. Make that one out, Jiggy?
I hear it, but I couldn't make out what he was saying, but I definitely hear it.
How about you, George?
Well, this one and the other one, the one where it's heard early and then this one was heard at the end, both sounded like the same voice saying, "Get out."
Okay. This one again. And then I'll go back and play the earlier one here. Here we go. This one's at the beginning.
Number 3 have a lot of...
I agree. It sounds like the same voice. Yeah. So that, and it was in the same area. So it was just again interesting. I'll go play the first one here, but this one I think is harder to hear. I thought it was saying something like "Get off me, get it off me," something along those lines.
Number 3 have a lot of...
And there may even be a word after that, you know, get off me or get it off me, and then another.
Number 3 have a lot of...
And then the second one, I thought at the very end was that one.
Yeah, I could hear it.
I think that one's that one. And I'll just add, just on Melissa asking, this was from, again, we're kind of setting up for the show we did. These were from the earlier ones. This was from August 2011, these clips. So these are
sorry, Mel.
Just, again, wanted to, as I was, just to kind of set up, because I know some people came in late, when I was going through the material to try to get together to do the kind of the, not the reveal, but just kind of the analysis of what we got out of the Spirit Box session a month ago, I was going back through some of the old things here, and I thought some of this, particularly the OR things, sit together, and so it's. I thought it would be interesting, at least to try this, see what people thought about doing it, is to kind of go through some of the things we got and see what kind of picture it all paints. Here we go again. Yeah, I see K-Rat heard that one as well, so here we go. All right. This next one, I'm hoping this comes through. I included this. I can't make out what it's saying, but it's funny of what you mentioned earlier, George. I included this one because, at least on the original, listening to the original file and information, there's a very gurgly, sounds underwater sound to it. And now, based on what you said about the metallic and the gurgle ones, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this one. So I'll play it a couple times. I hope this comes through. I think partially because of the gurgling nature to it. I can't make it out, but again, see what you guys think.
Closer.
again, it's looped at the end and actually looped a little bit too close together that it runs together. So I apologize for that. But here we go again.
Closer.
Again, just an odd. I have no idea what it's just an odd. Can you pick up that gurgling thing, George? Is that kind of what you're talking about with the underwater sound?
Yeah. Female this time though. Again, young, but yeah. I mean, fragments of what I can hear in there. I hear the word me, possibly the word again, but yeah. I mean, it's fast, so it's hard to just. Unless you extrapolate it and loop it time and time again, to pull it down, slow it down, timing the whole 9 yards, to break it down is going to be tough. But, yeah, I could definitely hear it, though. It's got that metallic sound again, which, in my experience, has accompanied something malevolent. I don't know what, if it was that particular entity or, again, a presence nearby that creates that phenomena, but it does happen from time to time.
I'll go ahead and do it again here. Turn it down a little bit. I'm not going to play all the loops, though, because it kind of runs together.
Closer.
So again, just found that odd, so that's why I wanted to include that one in here, even though I have no idea what's going on there with it. Jiggy, have you gotten any that kind of metallic gurgling on anything?
I will say, on the very first investigation I ever did, in sounds-wise, though, there was a sound that you got that was very similar. I really haven't had anybody analyze it, but I have it up online. But the gurgling, not necessarily the gurgling, but the very raspy sound. Like I hear some of the voices sound kind of raspy. I mean, it's probably because of the way they're coming through in the spirit pod. But to me, the very last one, it sounded to me like a girl who was saying, "Are you going to hit me again?"
The last one or the one before?
The very last one you just played, it sounded like a girl's voice when he said "you and again," but it sounded like to me she was saying, "Are you going to hit? Like, are you going to hit me again?"
All right, here we go.
Closer.
One more time.
Closer.
Okay. I don't know. It's just it was weird. So again, and as far as I can remember, I'll let you know as I go back through these. Didn't get anything else with that kind of nature to it. So, again, just kind of odd. I'm hoping this is the last one that I have for the night. And hopefully this comes through, because this is, I think this is a pretty cool one. So this is, again, up in the psych ward around the time we're getting ready to go downstairs. Turn up a little bit. It's female. You hearing that one, George?
I can, but again, it's like I said, it's difficult. She sounds off at a distance further away from the recorder, and first thing comes to mind. And again, it's just pareidolia when it comes to not having the full content. Get me a hot pocket. So you.
But it does sound like she says "get out" at the end. At the end, like "get out."
Okay. I heard. But again, it's all. I get it. It's all people hear it different ways. I was hearing "follow them." But go ahead and do it again.
The understanding point to it, though, Matthew, is that you spent hours upon hours upon hours looping through. We're getting, just a few segments, an opportunity to listen to it again, and not through really quality headphones or quality software. So it gives you the advantage to a degree to what it is that you're hearing versus what we're hearing.
Yes, and I know from just the phone that I'm on when I do these shows, it's always much harder to hear things through. I try when I screen them that when I decide what I'm going to load and what I'm not. This even is the case when I get clips sent in from people. Is if I can make it out without headphones, then I'll go ahead and do it. But obviously, again, there's a little bit of a disadvantage on my end because once you listen through it a couple times and think you're hearing a certain thing, you're obviously going to pick that up. So, but what I'll do a lot of times is I'll stay away from it for a while and then come back and play them again to see where, so I won't necessarily remember what I'm supposed to be hearing in these things and see if I can still make it out. But that's just how I go through it. Now, what I missed, and I can't believe I missed this, I don't think it loaded, because it's one of the better ones, is, and we've played this before, George, outside the nursery, getting the woman's voice, my flashlight went out, and I comment that my flashlight went out, and they get the woman whispering, "You're going to wake the baby." So I will have to load that up to play in the future, because that was an interesting one we got that first night as well. But anyway, I really appreciate the feedback on these things. Let's see, we got another caller in here. Area code 724. Hello, Sunday Night Dad. Who are we speaking with? Hello? Sunday Night Dad, area code 724. All right, if you get a chance, call back. All right, not sure. Again, just some odd things going on earlier here. Oh, hang on, they came through again. Give them a try. Area code 724, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Hi.
Hello. I can't hardly hear you.
Okay.
Any better now?
Something better on the connection side. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Who are we
I was
speaking
getting
with?
the little feedback on it here.
Okay. Who are we speaking with?
This is Cave Rat.
Oh, okay. Hey, Cave Rat.
Yeah. At the one there, I was playing around with that one going back a couple there, that what I was actually hearing there when I put it through a spectrum analyzer was mostly just aliasing from the recorder.
The gurgle one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me a while to run that through and break that down when I put it on a spectrum analyzer, and you can see the fundamental frequency as well as the sample rate and how the two are interacting together. That's what's causing your gurgling sound.
Okay. How about the earlier one in the with the smell? Is it the same thing there?
Let's see. I made a couple comments about that in back a ways. I didn't keep a record of any of them here, so I kind of forget which one it was now.
I understand. It's but sometimes doing the show, depending on how quick chat goes, I don't see everything on here. So.
Yeah. I'd kind of experiment a little bit myself here. I do electronic analysis on EVPs here. I have a laboratory to do all that, have the equipment and all to do it, but I've never tried to do it right off the air like this before.
Okay.
Usually I require that the EVP be submitted, and I do the full analysis here in the lab. So I was kind of playing around with yours there a little bit tonight just to see how it would work out.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much. Again, just going through and seeing what's going on here on this. Jiggy, what did you think about everything?
I mean, I personally hear. I mean, I'm not as trained a good ear as George, but I mean, there's definitely something's there, and it's a voice, and one's a woman, and then sometimes you hear a man. So not even like necessarily an older woman, maybe even a younger woman. But I definitely hear something. I can't always make it out. I'm on headphones and in a room right now at work trying to listen to you guys and talk. So what I'm hearing probably isn't as good as if I was sitting at home, with my better headphones and everything on. But I definitely hear something there. So.
Well, one of the things I'm hoping to do periodically on this, and this isn't something that we're going to be doing every night in a row here, but just periodically bring this in. It's just before I get into that spirit box piece, because I think there's some things that are related to that, I wanted to pull the interesting things that we experienced in here doing things. Again, I know different teams experience different things in there. I'm certainly looking for, and particularly if there's any teams out there that have had similar experiences or similar things happen in the area. Again, there's more, I think there's more credence to things if people independent of each other and that aren't aware of a specific claim that they might get biased towards it, have a similar experience. That's part of what is interesting with the work I've done at Trans-Allegheny is, there are individual evidence reports that people fill out, and when you find things that aren't in the tour and that aren't explained in the building, people experiencing the same things, it at least points towards something going on there, whether it's paranormal or whether it's a natural activity that everyone is experiencing and interpreting in a certain way. But so we're going to hopefully do this again in the future before we get up to the Spirit Box show. George, your final thoughts here before we wrap up.
It's obviously too late in the show to get into the debate about science versus the field of the paranormal, because the two may never meet, but it's the aspect of a lot of people out there using a lot of high-tech equipment, trying to do analysis and trying to figure out what's going on in the community as far as how we are capturing. There are some out there who believe that it's almost an impossibility for standard recorders that you buy at Target having the capability of capturing these phenomena. But I always end that discussion and that debate with science as we know it today. We don't know why and how things happen the way they happen in this field, and why it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't work. But it's a pursuit of knowledge, and anybody out there who's doing this, we are just at the beginning stage of this community. We're pioneers, and we need to continue to just pursue all the truth we possibly can and find out more about it. And hopefully someday we'll get better perfection with equipment and techniques to communicate with the other side.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone for listening tonight, and for all of our callers, we've run out of time again. So be sure. George, who do you have up next week or tomorrow?
Just so everybody knows, this is not a rebroadcast of last week's show, because I told you who was on Monday, which was supposed to be Jesselyn Brown from The Haunted Collector, who was going to be talking about the season finale, which debuted last Wednesday. And lo and behold, last minute, here we go. We have John Zaffis, who joined us last week. So we did an entire 2 hours of great interview with Mike and I talking to Mr. Zaffis, and we scheduled it to have Jesselyn come on. So Jesselyn Brown from Haunted Collector is due to come on with us tomorrow night on Primetime Paranormal at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the Dead Air Family on Blog Talk Radio.
Awesome. Well, everyone take care. Have a great week. We will see you next Sunday. Good night, everyone.
Then the sun disintegrates between a wall of clouds. A summer where I winter at, no one is allowed there. That you're celebrated summer.